We couldn't survive without oxygen. It makes up 21% of the air we breathe and is essential for our survival. But what would happen if the world suddenly lost all of its oxygen? Hey there, welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be answering the question, what if the world lost all of its oxygen for just 5 seconds? Imagine this, you're going about your day completely unaware that in just 5 seconds, all of the oxygen around you will disappear. Would you even notice? Probably not. You wouldn't know because you couldn't breathe. Without warning, all the oxygen around you would vanish. The air would turn to a suffocating void, devoid of the life-sustaining gas that we rely on. But where did it go? To understand what would happen if the world lost all of its oxygen, we first have to understand how oxygen works. When we think of oxygen, we usually think of it as a gas. That's because at room temperature, the oxygen that makes up 21% of the atmosphere exists in a gaseous state. However, at a much colder temperature, like the one on Mars, oxygen would exist as a solid. On the other hand, if the temperature were much higher, like on Venus, oxygen would become a liquid. So while we think of oxygen as a gas, it can actually exist in all three states of matter depending on the temperature. Now back to our original question. Where would all the oxygen go in just 5 seconds? Since oxygen can exist as a gas, liquid, or solid, the answer is actually all of the above. In less than a second, all of the oxygen in the air around us would condense into liquid form and fall to the ground as rain. This sudden downpour would be so intense that it would cause massive flooding in just a matter of seconds. At the same time, the remaining oxygen molecules would begin to freeze and form a layer of ice over everything. In just 5 seconds, our lungs would start to burn. Our blood would turn to ice, and every living thing on Earth would die. But what would happen after that? Without oxygen, the greenhouse effect would cease to exist. Water vapor is the most significant greenhouse gas in the Earth's atmosphere. However, it can only exist in gaseous form thanks to the energy provided by the sun. With no oxygen to absorb the sun's energy, water vapor would freeze and fall to the Earth as snow, covering the planet in an impenetrable ice sheet. The surface of the Earth would become a frozen desert, a lifeless wasteland devoid of the very air we need to survive. Any remaining liquid water would quickly freeze over, and any exposed skin would freeze in a matter of seconds. Animals would be frozen mid-motion, birds frozen in flight, and fish frozen in the depths of the ocean. It would be a world of eternal winter, a world without life. So let's just hope it doesn't happen anytime soon. Okay, so we know that without oxygen, the world as we know it would end pretty quickly. But what if the world lost 1% of its oxygen? Well, luckily for us, this actually happened in the past. About 248 million years ago, the Earth's atmosphere had about 30% less oxygen than it does today. This caused the oxygen level in the atmosphere to drop from 21% to around 16%. For humans, this may not seem like a big deal, but for the animals alive at the time, it was enough to cause mass extinctions. Many insects, amphibians, and early reptiles died off, leaving the way open for dinosaurs to take over. So while losing 1% of the Earth's oxygen may not seem like a big deal to us, it's clear that even small changes to the atmosphere can have a big impact on life on Earth. So let's just hope that the world doesn't lose any more oxygen anytime soon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more fun science videos like this one. Thanks for watching.